welcome to the Baccarat Edge. We got work to do, man. Let me tell y'all something. We got work to do. What I'm going to do today is we're going to set an approach from A to Z, how to approach a trading zone. I had to sit back and think about this for a minute. You know, I think kind of slow. I'm like a chess player. I love to play chess. I go out to the chess houses all the time. When they used to be out there, it's just can't find anybody anymore. But anyway, you know, you got to take in this kind of approach. I had to sit back and really think about how I'm going to get the message across to more so to you guys who are not familiar with trading the futures, or futures when I say commodities, coffee, cocoa, sugar, pork belly, soybeans, and then you got Forex or stocks. And a trader can look at this chart that you see in front of you and immediately pick out certain areas that he would be buying and selling. A person who has never, ever really got into stock trading, so to speak, might have a little bit of a hard time. And I had to really sit back and think about how I wanted this approach to come about. So from A to Z, here's how this goes. When you start charting, let's say start from the beginning, because a lot of people, I sense a lot of people are confused and they don't know where to start. So let's put some rules in place, hopefully, or not rules, let's put some suggestions because I don't want nobody coming back and saying, yeah, quote unquote, but you said. But anyway, let's get this going. First thing you establish is the trend. The first thing you establish is which way is this shoe going based on the trend. Okay? You look on the side of your sheet. Now, here's a sheet right here. Let me open up this sheet right here just so you guys can see what I am talking about. You can download this sheet. This is a free PDF sheet. This is what I take into the casinos with me. Okay, this is 11 by 17. Also, I have a regular size sheet. I think this is what, 8.5 by 11 or something like this. This is a regular size sheet. You're gonna get about 50 something plays going across on the 8.5, and you just start manually charting. Okay, this is a free download. The links will be below. You can download both of these, the 8.5 by 11, or bring that back up again, the 11 by 17. Okay, now just do a quick and review, because there are some people who are you know, they pass my videos and they don't exactly know what I'm talking about. What I am talking about is how to tell when you're in a trending shoe or when you're in a sideways or range trading or range betting shoe, so to speak. Okay? First thing you have to do is you have to establish what the trend is. So if you're on your sheet, what side of zero are you going to be on? Okay? Are you going to be on the banker side? The banker side is on the positive side of zero. The player side is on the negative side of zero. You add one for banker. So if banker, let's say banker was the first hand. If banker comes, you add one. If banker comes again, you add another one. If banker comes, you add one. If player comes, you subtract one. If player comes, then you go down one. Okay? Player comes again, you go down another one. And you keep this up, and what you will end up is a nice trending graph that looks something similar to this. Now, with that being said, people have made comments. Well, you can't take that software into, and I know I'm repeating myself, but I have to repeat this. You can't take that software into the casino. No, you don't have to take the software in casino. What you do take into the casino is this sheet right here. They're not going to say nothing. They're going to look at you and say, another system player. That's all they're going to say is another system player. I don't see them letting you take a phone and playing on a phone on an app at the casino. You might be able to do it in some casinos. A lot of casinos, they're not going to tolerate that. And better yet, if you're doing it manually, you understand what's going on instead of what we call in trading a black box system. When you trade a black box system, you have no idea, none whatsoever, of the workings of that system. You're just taking the signals. You don't know why it's coming up with the calculations. You don't know why it's telling you to buy or why it's telling you to sell. It just said buy here or sell there. That's what you call a black box system. When you understand how to do things manually, you have a better understanding. And so when you deviate from your plan, you know why. You'll know why you won or why you lost. But trading a black box system or betting a black box system and trading, that's a no-no, because you don't know what's going on with that system. And when that system starts to go through a drawdown, and a drawdown is a series of losing trades before it turns up, if it turns up, you done lost your ass. Okay? So when you're drawing on this sheet, you're going to end up somewhat with a graph like this. Okay? Now, with that being said, when you add one to the graph, you get a banker. When you subtract one, you get a player. Okay? The first approach is you decide what trend you are in. Are you in a banker's shoe or a player's shoe? That's the first thing we're going to talk about. What trend are you in? What is the bias? Is the bias favored to the player? And if you look at this shoe right here, this is an Excel spreadsheet from B&B. I do not have this particular sheet. This sheet is from B&B Simulations. And this is a customized Baccarat sheet or Baccarat Excel program that I purchased from him. He has his own YouTube channel. You can go to him on his YouTube channel and inquire to him about purchasing the Baccarat program. But all I wanted to see, this is all I wanted to see right here. That's all I want to see. All I want to see is this graph right here. Everything below, don't need it. It's mute. I had a guy tell me, he said something like, I we were talking about how I graph and everything there. And he said, well, I tell you what, he said, you send me 1,000 shoes with 1,000 test results, and then I may listen. I don't need you to listen. I'm not trying to convince you. I'm not going to try to convince you, because you know what? It's working for me. It's working for me. I see how you graph. And he was talking about his problem with betting down here in this shoe. Guess what? You're going to have that kind of problem if you're looking at the graph the wrong way. Let me bring something up. I wasn't going to do this, put this in this particular video, but let me show you guys something. Here is a shoe, and this is on the internet. This is on the internet. There's a guy on the internet, and he's on a Twitch channel. I don't know what, I can't tell you what his name is, and I don't want to give out his name. All you have to do is look up I forgot how I brought him up on Twitch channel, but there was another channel that brought him up. And I sat there, and he's playing live. He has $125,000. I'm going to find this shoe, because we're going to talk about this real quick. He has $125,000. I think he started with exactly 130,000. Real money. He's betting real money on the internet. I don't know if I'll ever get to that point where I'm going to bet that kind of money on the internet. Yeah, right. But that's another story. But anyway, this guy started with $125,000 real money. Money must not be an issue with him. I would love to sit down with him and talk or consult with him about playing Baccarat, or a different way of looking at Baccarat. Here's the shoe. Okay. He was determined. He only played 43 hands. Okay? He played 43 hands. I cannot think of how I came up on this guy. He was playing live on the internet. And he was determined to go into this shoe, and he was only betting player every hand. He was betting player every hand, win or lose. And then he was hollering at the shoe because he lost. I would love to sit down and consult with him. If you see this video, my man, and you know who you are, I'm not going to charge you much. I'm not going to charge you much, but I'll consult with you. You can lay some of that money this way, and I will definitely show you how to chart a Baccarat shoe when you're playing for that kind of money. Let's get back to this shoe. He was betting player every hand, as you can see, as Howard Cosell used to say. And here we are. Anyway, that's for you older guys who know who Howard Cosell is. He was betting, and he started from hand number one. Okay? He started off something like 10,000 a hand. And I can't play the video because, and I recorded the video, but I can't play the video because I don't want to get strikes, no copyright strikes or anything like that. But go up on Twitter, guy loses big time. It's all over Twitter and everything. He starts off with hand one and he says, okay, I'm going to start off betting 10,000 a hand. Only player. As you can see, this shoe takes off immediately and goes to +3. He won the first hand, and the first 4 hands, he loses. And right around, I want to say right around hand 10, where this range starts right here, he gets into a a tight range, and he's hitting player every other hand. So now he's feeling comfortable. He's feeling comfortable, and right around this, he ups his bet to 15. So he catches 3 in a row. He catches that 3 in a row right there. And now he ups his bet to $20,000. Okay? This guy is betting by the hand. By the time he reaches right around hand 20 to 25, don't quote me on that, but you'll find it on the video. You'll see it on the video somewhere on YouTube. He's upping his bet now because he catches this little 3 in a row right here. And I'm charting this as we go along. You have to see this video. It's gut wrenching. He's hollering at the screen. He's wondering why, banker keeps coming. And I mean, he's going off. You can see we found a little support down here, and right around in here, he's feeling real comfortable. This little section right here, he's feeling good. He caught a 3 in a row. He catches 2 right here. And as you can see, this is the last 3 or last multiple run he caught right there. Okay? The shoe takes off to the upside. He's up to like $20,000, $25,000 a bet now. He's screaming and hollering, and he's constantly betting player. Of course, he's charting. He's looking at the version on the screen of charting this way. Okay? By the time the guy gets to the end of the shoe, he is down 100, roughly around, right around $130,000. And he has a lot of subscribers on Twitter or YouTube. So he's probably getting, a couple dollars, not a couple, but getting a constant check off YouTube. But to be that much in the hole and to be betting like that, not knowing what the trend is, insane. He loses. By the time he gets to hand 43, he quits. He cuts off his screen, and he's down $130,000. Wiped his account clean. When a person goes on tilt, you can't tell a person is not willing to take any advice from anybody. All reasoning goes out the door. This guy was on tilt back in this area somewhere. And when it really started going against him, that's when he went off. 130,000. I would love to sit down and consult with him and see if I can help him change his game. Okay, let's get back to a trending Baccarat shoe. And we'll discuss this shoe more in detail, because what I had my partner do, I told him to watch the video. He had never seen the video before. And he pulled out his sheet and he played as he went along. I think he ended up with something like 22 units by the time we got to hand 43, we will be discussing this shoe. But I just had to tell you guys, there are people out there online who can care less about what the trend is. That's my purpose for doing these videos. My purpose for doing these videos is to discuss and get you guys to understand another way of doing something. You know, I mean, I'm gonna digress here for a minute. I was about 5 or 6 years old. My father put a clarinet in my hand. And I remember he used to give me music lessons. And I remember when he put that clarinet in my hand, my fingers were too small. A clarinet, your fingers have to be big enough to cover the holes. So my fingers were too small to cover the holes in a clarinet. I could get a sound out, but my fingers were too small to cover the hole in the clarinet. So he immediately took the sax. He immediately took the clarinet out of my hand. He said, "Wait a minute," and he had a soprano sax, and he said, "Here, play this. Play this." And with a soprano saxophone is just like a saxophone. The keys don't have holes in the middle of them. So when you press the keys down, you instantly get sound. You know, he just okay, let's try it this way. And I stayed on that soprano saxophone, and he just gave me lessons every so often. I wasn't like 6 years old. I've got a soprano saxophone in my hand, and he's teaching me how to play the saxophone. And I stayed on the soprano saxophone till I was about in the 4th grade, 3rd or 4th grade. Once I hit the 3rd or 4th grade, then my fingers were big enough to cover the holes of a clarinet. And from that point on, I played clarinet. Clarinet and saxophone are similar. They're reed instruments. The point I'm trying to make here is, do not close your mind to different ideas of how to do things. Find another way. If one way is not working, there's another way of doing it. He realized that my fingers were too small, and then within a split second, he took that soprano saxophone and put it in my hand and said, "Okay, since your fingers can't cover these holes, I'm going to get you to play the soprano sax, because you don't have to worry about holes on the soprano sax." Holding and everything, posture, embouchure, everything is the same. I'm basically, I don't know if you guys can pick up on this, I'm a music major. So when you start taking music lessons, the point of taking music lessons is to get your basics down first. And that's what I had to do. I had to get my basics down first. Never close your mind to just thinking one way. That's the moral to the story. Make a long story short. Or the story was already long. But anyway, never close your mind to thinking in a different way. Okay? Back to the trend again. So, once you decide on the trend of the Baccarat shoe, whether it's going to be on the banker side or player side, as you can see, this is a player shoe so far. Okay? You can see the player shoe. So by the time we got to the end of the shoe, you can see right here the difference between player and bankers is only 1. But what I realized when I started going through these charts was, you see these two bankers right here starting at hand 14? At hand 14 and hand 16, we're hitting lower highs. we're hitting lower highs. We're hitting major resistance. Okay? Right here, on this chart right here, that's hand 14, and that's hand 16. By looking at this chart and looking at these two plays, one over here and one over here, you cannot tell you're hitting resistance. This is how traders look at charts all day long. You're hitting resistance. I'm just doing a quick review because we're going to get right into the range trading. This is a prerequisite for the range trading because I have a great entry the way you're going to understand getting into this range trading. But let me review this because we have people that's coming in and watching the middle of these videos. And if you want to really get into details, start back at video 1 because these videos are progressing as we go along. But let me explain. You cannot tell by looking at hand 14 and hand 16 that you're hitting resistance. Okay? You cannot tell that you got into a little very tight range here for a second. It's only about 4 or 5 plays. Not a lot at all. This is a tight range. That's a tight range. Okay? So, you cannot tell that at hand 14, was that hand 14? Is lower high. So that play right, well, sorry about that. This play right here and this play right here, you can't tell this by looking at this big road or main road. This is the main road right here. You can't tell. Nor can you go to the bead as hand 14, 15 and tell that on the bead. Okay? So what I decided to do was, with me looking at trading charts all day long, I decided, hey, there has to be a better way of looking at Baccarat charts than looking at it this way. We also have resistance here. Resistance is at hand 23, 25, 27, 29, 31. And you can tell right here. Here's hand 25. And I said starting in hand 23. So you got 23, 25, 27, and 29. Major resistance. Major resistance. Also, what? Lower highs. Market structure. I did a video on market structure. Please go back and watch it. Please watch these videos because once you start getting what's going on here, you're going to a trader would immediately look at this chart and just say, "Oh my God, that's beautiful." If you've never traded before, you're seeing something new. But this is not a system. It's just a logical approach to how to keep trend in a Baccarat shoe. So you got major resistance right here and going back down to the main road. You can't tell from 23 to 29. You're at lower highs and major resistance. Okay? You can't tell at hand, what is this? 40. If you go to 40 right here, is that hand 40? Yep, hand 40. And you go to 40 right here, that's a higher low. When you start getting into market structure and looking at stock charts all day long, all this stuff, these trades and all this immediately comes to you. And if there are traders looking at this video right now, they have a certain style. In that style, you cannot change. You have pullback traders, you have breakout traders. People have all kinds of ways of entering a trade. The difference between this and trading, this is a little bit more stress free. Because if your base bet is $10 or whatever it might be, $10, $25, you're only risking that one base bet. If you decide to just arbitrarily bet that right there, you're risking, and your base bet is $25, you're risking $25. Whereas if you were looking at a trading chart, you would, and you're looking at the E-mini, and it's $12.50 a tick, you have to say, okay, from here to here, I have to put my stop above this pivot up here. And you have to let it fly. So if it does go up there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, roughly 5 ticks, you say, okay, I'm risking 5 ticks. That's $12.50 times 5. I don't feel like doing the multiplication. You do multiplication. That's how much you're risking on that trade. That's how much you're risking on that trade. What's that, 60 something dollars? So, this is a lot more stress free, and you get to control how much you want to risk per bet. I was getting ready to say trade, but per bet. Let's get back to the trend analysis. So once you decide, I know I keep digressing, but I just want to make sure this gets in when it crosses. There's certain things get in when it crosses my mind. Once you decide what the trend is, then by hand 15, somewhere between hand 15 and 20, you know, block everything off from here on out. You have an idea of what you're going to do. You have an idea of what the trend is doing, because you only have, worst case scenario, roughly 75 to 80 hands to but get your bets in. You have 75 to 80 hands. A charting, a E-mini chart, a Forex chart is infinity. Never stops. It's another hard part about trading. It never stops. You got buyers and sellers constantly entering the market and moving the market up or down. What makes this Baccarat shoe move? Welcome to the Twilight Zone. Figure that out, Mr. Glenn. Because there are no buyers and sellers. Are we in the Twilight Zone or what? But anyway, this shoe is moving just like a chart. So once you get to between hand 15 and hand 20, you have a good idea of where your support is, where your resistance is, and so forth. Let's back out of that. Okay. Was trying to highlight this particular range right here. Got into a very small range right here for a brief second. Okay. Here is my move right here. Just not remembering what's going on in this shoe. That would be my confirmation to the downside right there. Okay. So my next bet would be player. I don't remember exactly what happened. I got so many things on my mind. And you can see player started. Depending on your money management is how you would handle that range. Okay, here we go. If you decide to play the range, here's how this is going to go. Here's the range. Wait till support or resistance is established. Minor resistance is only one play. Okay? Did you guys hear what I just said? Minor resistance is only one play. Not knowing what's back here. So this is minor. And the reason why I'm calling this minor is because since this is a player favorite shoe, we're only looking to bet player. Major resistance is going to be, let's look at this. Major resistance is going to be after it tries and can't get above that point, which is -6 twice. So now that it has tried twice, every time it gets up to -6, which is our psychological number. Somebody mentioned what's your psychological number? -6 is going to be the psychological number right now. But anyway, and I first heard the term psychological. There's a trader, well-known trader on. She teaches very good. She talks about stocks, commodities, and forex. Her name is Raggy. Love listening to her talk. But anyway, and she talks about psychological numbers, and just so happened, somebody mentioned in one of the comments below, what's your psychological number? And he was laughing while he said it. But I get it. I get it. Psychological number is -6. Each time that banker comes, we're going to cover this over. Oops. Each time, I'm going to cover these players over right here. That banker comes, every time that banker comes, you're going to bet player when it hits -6 because it has already been established. It has already been established that your major resistance is -6. Okay? It's already been established. Major resistance is -6. So each time it comes up here, without knowing what's going to come next, your bet is going to be player. Okay? With that being said, third time, you bet player. Each time it comes up there, you keep betting until you lose. If it doesn't come up there, I don't care. I don't care if it comes within 1. If it doesn't come up to this level right here, don't bet it. You would have lost that one right here. It's the only one you would have lost. But in this little range right here, you would have had 3 units. The reason why you are betting for player is because you're on the player side of the shoe. When you're on the player side of the shoe, you bet resistance. Let me repeat myself. When you're on the player side of the shoe, you're playing off the banker and you're betting resistance. We'll talk about counterplays later. I just want to establish the basic right now. A counterplay is when you're betting the opposite in a trend. It's not what we're discussing right now. We're discussing this range because it's eating me up, and I know it's got to be eating you up. And I said, if I could perfect this range in Baccarat, I'm good. That's a part of my game I don't have to worry about getting down, because that's the hardest part of a shoe, is betting inside of a range. Okay? And you wait till you see that third play before you start betting that range. Don't accept nothing less. You wait till you see that third play on the resistance side. When you see that third banker and it's hitting the same psychological number, for instance, this is -6. It cannot be a player, it can't be, you can't have no players in between and you count that. No, you want to see consecutive bankers without no players in between on that particular line. So when you get to the third banker right here, you're betting blind. I'm betting a player is going to come. Right there, I'm a bet a player is going to come. Right here, I'm a bet a player is going to come. If it don't get back up there, then it don't get back up there. We'll talk about the breakout and the confirmation of the breakout later. Right now, we're talking about ranges. I'm on this hard because I see something consistent here, and I'm going to run a couple of more shoes in this generator just so you'll understand there is some consistency here. Okay? That's a range. Started to get into a range here. That banker never came back up here except right here. Pay attention to, it might be 4 or 5 plays down the road. Let me erase that. But nonetheless, is there. Get my arrow. Look at this. That's resistance. That's major resistance here. It hit resistance right here. So your next play is player. And what did it do? Got 2 ties. And you got a player right there. I don't know if I would have bet after 2 ties. But nonetheless, this is, I'm just trying to show you an example of how consistent this is now. Okay? So pay attention. And like I said, you don't want to see no players in between. If it runs up to resistance or run down to support, you want to see consecutive bankers or consecutive players on that line. You got major resistance right here, took a dive down, came back up to this play right here, and draw your lines. Every once in a while, you might need to draw your lines. Boom, hit that line of resistance. That's a play. Boom, that's a unit right there. Okay, right here, boom. You would have lost the unit right there, and then it broke out to the upside. Okay? Anything is going to be betting player as long as you are below 0. Look at this right here. Here's the small range. 1, okay, it's getting established. 2, it's established. There it is. Banker, boom, bet player. Okay? Here it is again. Last hand of the shoe, banker didn't come. But there it is again. Oh, no, my fault. Your mistake. Here's that resistance again. Already established. Already established. Boom, boom. You don't have to wait here because this line has already been established. There are no players in between that. And I'm starting to see a lot of consistency here as far as player and support and betting ranges. You're not trying to get a lot out of those ranges. If you can scout, that's the term we use in trading. If you can scout 3 to 4 units out of a range, perfect. Perfect, beautiful. This is not a system. This is an approach. Okay? So right here, you got 1, 2, 3. You came out with another 3 units right here. Okay? So you're going to have shoes like this every once in a while. You're going to get shoes where it's doing nothing but ranging. Learn how to tackle these ranges. Let's get into another shoot. Let's do another shoot. But this is a perfect example of nothing but range in the shoot. If you don't catch and run, wait for your ranges. Let's catch something on the banker side where we're using player as support. Okay. Hit the display, generate a shoe. That's a player shoe. Nope. Not what I want to see. Player shoe. Wow. Big time run on a player. Bang, bang, bang. No, range is not enough. Nope. Nope. I want to see some real tight ranges. Come on, give me a oh, I just passed one. Just hit the fucking button too quick, too damn quick. Okay. Here's a tight range. Here's a tight range. Tight range. We're on the player side. Or on the banker side. Because we're on the banker side, you are only looking to bet a banker. Player becomes support. It's only major support is only established after 2 consecutive players on that line. No banker in between. No banker in between. So, knowing that +1 has become support. Next time player comes, you're going to bet, you would bet banker. There it is right there. Okay? Player comes, you would have lost that play. Okay? Now, here is a banker in between this established support right here. It's a judgment call. Why? Because player was still established down here as support, just one level down, and then it came back up as a follow through. Here is what I do a lot of times. And I'm glad this situation came up. When I lose that bet, if banker comes the next roll, I will go for banker again. A lot of times, and I'm starting to see, you will get that follow through with at least 2 bankers. Next time you see a shoe or you have some shoes, pay attention to that pattern. You will see a follow through of at least 2 bankers on that play. If you lose that one, a lot of times you can come right back and you'll get a follow through of that banker, and then notice it's established again. So, with that being said, this is still major support right here. I would still come back and bet that again. Okay? This is, we're going to call this an exception to the rule. This is, you got, make sure you pay attention to your memos. This is an addendum. But anyway, this is exception to the rule because support did come down to that particular area right there. So you got player again, banker, player again, banker. You lost that. You did not get a follow through right there. And now all of a sudden, this has become support. This has become support. Nobody said ranges would be easy, but this is just an idea or how I approach a trading range. Ranges are not easy by all means. They're not easy, but you're only looking to bet on banker because we're on the banker side of the shoe. Okay? Let's hit another one. Want to find something where the range is just tight. Then all of a sudden it goes. Not on the player side, on the banker side. Now that I'm looking for one, I can't find one. That's what I like about this particular software. It has a random shoe generator, and it just generates shoes randomly. And what I do is with this, when I first got this software, I was just training my eye to see support and resistance in a Baccarat shoe. Okay, here we go again. We're going to concentrate just on range betting. Watch this. Okay. Minor. Boom. Came back down. Major. Okay. Boom. You hit that right there. You lose that right there. You did not get the follow through. Then all of a sudden, this down here becomes major. This became major. Well, not major, but this tie. I don't want to get into ties right now. Ties are a hard call. Ties are a hard call. So I would be looking at this as some type of major support, even though it came down to here. This is another judgment call. We're not going to include this pattern. But at this point, I would be looking to bet banker to the upside. Why? Because this area right here is establishing itself as a major support. I see it. It's harder to explain just from out of experience of looking at charts, but I see support in this area right here. Okay? Let's look at this right here. Another perfect example. Blew through by 1. But we're at major support here. Here's a follow through. Another one of those follow throughs I talked about. Betting on banker. Bang. 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 Follow through. You would have hit that. You would have hit that right there. Okay? You also would have hit that right there if you'd have played it with the follow through after it established itself right there. So, it's ranges is a tough call. I just want to give you guys some type of approach. So we looked at the buy side and we looked at the sell side to trading ranges. Let's look at another shoe. Here's something. Look at this. Okay. Now, I'm going to talk about this real quick. Notice this right here. Notice these two plays right here. That's not resistance because that blew right through it and went up to there. So that's not resistance yet because resistance has not been established. You got a player right here. Here is where resistance starts to become established because it came up here. It tried once. It tried twice. Third time, you're betting. Fourth time, you're betting. Fifth time, you're betting. Sixth time, you're betting. Boom. Did not come back up there to that line. Also, check this out. And I'm just saying this as we go along. And let me tell you guys something. This is just, hindsight is 2020. We're just going through exercises in training your eye and seeing trends and stuff in Baccarat. Now, what else do you guys see in this shoe? I'm going to see if you guys catch this. There's something in this range that's happening. Ferris Bueller. Here we go. Guess what? Let me lower highs. Market structure is breaking down. We're leaning to the downside. This shoe, this is a pattern primed to break. Couldn't get back up to the zero. So now all of a sudden, -1 becomes resistance. We were at 0. -1 becomes resistance. Get ready for the breakout. Here's your confirmation right here. Get ready for the breakout. You caught that one. And we're going to get into this for a second. Up one as you lose, down one as you win. Just a particular money management betting strategy. Because if you're up one as you win, or up one as you lose, down one when you win, this whole little section right here, you'd have been sitting pretty by the time it's all said and done. You'd have been sitting pretty. You'd have lost this one. You'd have won that one. You'd have lost this one. You'd have won that one. You'd have lost that one. You'd have won that one. You'd have won that one. You'd have lost that one. You'd have won that one. You'd have won that one. You lost that one. You'd have lost that one. You'd have won that one. You'd have won that one. You'd have lost that one. You'd have won. Don't know what it is. I'm not even going to waste my time counting it. Just know you come out on the positive side. Point I was trying to make is this structure right here started to break down. That's a red flag for me. When you start to see lower highs right here, these two right here, when it can't not get back up to the original resistance, and of course it wasn't established till after this came right here, that's a red flag. You have to be paying attention to the breakout at that point. That's your confirmation right there. That's the breakout point. Boom. Off to the races. You have more players in this particular section of the shoe than bankers. Just train your eye for that. When you start to see a breakdown in the market structure, whether it's lower highs or higher lows, and we're going to find one where it's happening on the banker side, that's your red flag. That's your go signal. That's your go signal right there. I am seeing that more and more in these shoes. And I wish there was a way we could run tests on this, but it would have to be some type of neural net program to really get into. I'm into a lot of neural net programs with trading and stuff, and it picks out it. I read a definition one time of neural net is organized chaos. That's the definition they gave, organized chaos. But anyway, it was a breakdown in market structure right there. Let's see if we can find another breakdown in market structure within a range. Not so obvious. Not so obvious. That low highs break down, broke down, but it still stayed in the banker range right there. Because it's going to be an ever so subtle play. Here's one that's pretty close, even though this is at the beginning of a shoe. And this kind of stuff can be very easily missed. Oops. Let's get the square. This stuff can be very easily missed. Boom. And then just one level away, here's your lower high right there. Not established, here's your confirmation right there. Boom, off to the races. Hopefully you get a couple units out of that. Okay. Here's the lower, a higher low. Off to the races. Bet up to there. We'll get in. That's a whole nother video, but you can bet up to there. Let's see here. Let's see here. Tight range right here. 2 levels, even though we're at the end of the shoe. Notice it's low high. Just the shoe, that hand, or yeah, that hand, it just can't get back up to that original psychological line of -1 right there. And then all of a sudden, the resistance moves down to -3. And these are subtle moves. Can be very easily missed. Pay attention. Let's find another one. Let's find another one. Let's look at this one. Moves are ever so subtle. Okay, we're in a tight range. And then look at this. Higher lows. Can't get back down to this area right here, support +5, and then it starts to take off. Higher lows, high lows. And it can be a grinding effect because it might only, like, look at here, it only goes up to one level. It only goes up to the next level before it pulls out. It's not so obvious. And you can say, man, this shoe is just crap. No, it's not crap, because what's happening is it's grinding up. That me and my partner, that's what we call it. It's a grinding effect, but it's going in your direction. It's going up. We're in a banker shoe. Look at this. We're in a banker shoe. Train your eye to look at the ever so subtle effects of coming out of a range. A lot of times you're going to start to see higher lows or lower highs. And it's going to be so tight you could when you sit back and say, oh, there's a lower high or a higher low. How did I miss that? It could be very easy. And I did that in a couple of real shoes. But I go through this software here. And then, like I said, you can get the software from B&B Simulation. He puts a key on your computer so you can only run it on one computer. But hey, that's his thing. But I call this the Ninja Trader software of Baccarat. Okay? Let's go through another one. Ever so subtle. Ever so subtle. Let's go through it. Let's find another one where it's just grinding up. I don't want to do the breakouts. I don't have problems with as much breakouts as I do with range trading. Here's the ever so subtle to the downside. And I can pick this out because I'm just used to looking at charts. I'm just used to looking at charts. We got resistance right here. Boom, it's established right here. And even though these are counter plays, but we're going through a transition right here. And look at this. The next level is lower highs. The next level is lower highs. It can't get back up there to that +5. Notice also, this +5 has become major resistance. Every time it gets up here to this +5, it turns around. There's a pop right there. Got back up here at hand 62. Pop right there. Pop right there. Pop right there. Then it starts to work its way down. Look at that. Lower highs. Lower highs. And boom, it's gone. These are counter plays. We'll get into this. But if you can see them, play them. Because counter plays, you're betting against the trend. That's what a counter play is. You're betting against the trend. I just wanted to do this video, and I just wanted to do some exercises and show you guys what I'm looking for inside of ranges. And the approach I use, whether I'm on the banker side or player, this is a perfect example of where this look where this trend, look where this resistance started. So actually, it started back here at 13, and it could be very easily missed. So right here, you should have been started popping right there. Not right here, but right here. 1, 2, just on that alone, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 units. Five units, just every time I got up to +5, you're popping it because resistance was major key level up here. There are no players up there at all. All bankers. It could be very easily missed because you have to go so far back. And that's why you see me, if you notice on my real charts, I draw the lines because it will remind me of what, if there's support or resistance up there. Look at that, straight across. Every time banker comes to +5, you need to be shooting for a player. That's a counter play. Those are some of the obvious plays that you'll run into. A counter play is, even though you're on the banker side, you're looking for a player. That's a counter play. You're betting against the trend. Okay. This is the Baccarat Edge. I think we've had quite a few exercises in range betting again. This is the Baccarat Edge. Don't forget to press the like button. Don't forget to press the subscribe button. This is just another approach to charting and looking at Baccarat shoes. Baccarat. Somebody corrected me and said it's not Baccarat, it's Baccarat. Okay? Tomato, whatever. We'll get into some range betting again, because once you get all this together, and once you train your eye to see all this together, your game will improve much better. Every time I explain it to you guys, I'm getting better and better at it. Like I said, this was something new to me a couple months ago. And I just wanted to narrow down, because somebody had made a comment about, show me your approach. What are you thinking when you're going into a shoe? That's what I'm thinking when I'm going into a shoe. What we just went over the past hour. That's what I'm thinking. That's how I'm attacking a shoe, especially in the range. Okay? Like I said, welcome to the Baccarat Edge. If you've never seen this channel before, I will post a link to the downside in case you want to download the free PDF sheet. This PDF sheet is a sheet you can use in the casino, whether you want to use the 8x17. Is that it? 8x17? No, 11x17 or the 8x11. 11x17 is just going to give you a couple of more plays. I think it goes up to like 62, 63 across, which might be a little better. Or you can use the 8x11, which goes up to 50-something hands, and then you have to continue it on the next page. But it's a sheet to use inside of the casino because I don't know of too many casinos here where they'll let you pull out your cell phone and run it on the app. The day they start doing that, I will probably come up with an app to keep up with this. But for right now, I just keep up with everything on the sheet. So there you'll see a link below to download these sheets for free. And also you'll see a link below if you want to get this particular charting program so you can chart your own shoes. And this particular sheet right here, I keep repeating it, excellent for online play. I'm getting sample shoes from people who are using this sheet for online play. And let me say something. There's one guy, I think his name is Mr. Pierce. He said, I hit and run. Well, the thing about this strategy, and this message goes to everybody out there, you don't have to hit and run with this strategy if you don't want to. You don't have to hit and run. Yes, if you're looking for breakout shoes, hit and run. But the beautiful thing about this is you can stay here if you're forced to play one shoe like you are when you're in a casino. You could just stay here and grind it out. But if you're in a place like, or not in a place, but online where you have 5 or 6 shoes running in front of you and you want to chart those 5 or 6 shoes, hey, have at it. Go for it. That's beautiful. You can pick and choose where you want to enter. But you don't have to hit and run because this strategy or approach, so to speak, is something where you can just sit there and play the shoe out, which a lot of times when you're inside of a casino, you don't have your choice of many tables like you do online. You have to sit there and grind it out. So, see you guys on the next video. Hope you enjoy my content. This is not a system. This is approach. This is just ideas of trading Baccarat. This is from B&B Simulation. Love this program. I can also do bet simulation in this program. I very rarely do bet simulation in this program, but I can do bet simulation in this program. And one thing I want him to do, or wanted him to do, was instead of him putting in money, I wanted him to put in units. And as you can see, as I keep hitting the bet button, the banker index down here starts to chart. So anyway, thank you guys for coming to this special session. Because this was a special session. I was looking only for ranges. And I will talk to you guys later. Peace out.